Okay, so the web host down over the weekend. A couple of you have got it, or you got it submitted, right? Some of you got them in early, which was good. But basically, I have it open until midnight tonight. All right, so that hopefully now it looks like it's possibly cleared up. Maybe a lot of people had midterms this weekend. I know the other professor that teaches in this class did have midterms this weekend too. So maybe it was just overloaded, but it's kind of odd for it to be a holiday weekend and do that. So apologies for that. I mean, just it's open, so you can still resubmit your URL, and I won't count it as late. Yes?
Is there any changes you made to that midterm? Because I just submitted, I think, 2 days ago. So everything is...
No, I didn't. No, I wouldn't change the midterm.
Okay.
I just changed the date.
The date,
Yeah, that's the only thing I changed. That would be kind of cruel to change it. Yeah, no. Okay, let's see. Let me close that. All right, so I'm going to make a copy of our web template. So today we're going to look at a little bit more of advanced CSS selectors. Okay, so I'm going to copy my web template and call it advanced. Advanced CSS. And I'm going to open my style. Oops. And I'm going to open up my index. Okay, so what are some of the selectors we've done so far? As I do some design here. What are some of our selectors? Div. Okay. They're all of our tags. Okay. What are some other things that we learned though?
Do a class.
We can do class. An ID. And hover is what kind? Well, we can hover over a div. It's a weird name. Pseudo. It's a pseudo class. Okay. So today I'm going to teach you how you can actually style your HTML without using classes or IDs. Okay, and we're going to look at a few of those. All right, let's see. What about, how would I target a paragraph inside a div?
Div space paragraph.
Div, and what do we call that? Y'all remember? Child selector. Okay, today we're actually going to look at what a true child selector is. This is actually a descendant. Okay, so this is any descendant of a div that's a paragraph. So that means a child, a grandchild, a great-grandchild. Okay, it's everything that's a descendant of a div. Okay, pseudo selectors, we're going to, oh, and we can actually change our pointer. So let me do that real quick. So I have a div, hover, because I haven't shown you that yet. So I only have one div. Oh, shoot. Okay, so we can hover over it and change the color or do whatever we want, right? Okay, so if I wanted this to be a pointer instead of an arrow, I can do that too with just changing the cursor to be pointer. Okay, now when I hover over it, it shows that it's actually a link and could go somewhere, potentially. Cursor, pointer. Okay, make that a little bit bigger. Okay, so now we actually are going to start looking at something called nth child, first child, last child, and nth last child. Okay, so we're going to look at each one of these separately and talk about them a little bit. All right? So remember, you need to, if you haven't done it yet, be sure to go to the CSS tricks, because there's all those different selectors. Okay? And we're covering a fraction of them. Remember that. Okay? So you can come in here and look at the whole list. This is, and then these are the attributes. So here's my selectors and or properties, not attributes. Sorry. Okay. So if I wanted to, let's see, say div first child. What do you think I'm targeting right now?
First child of the div.
First child of the div. So what's in my first child of my div? Huh? Where's my first div? Right here, right? Line 18. Okay, so I don't have anything in there, right? At this point. Let me finish this. Div first child, and let's go background, color, orange. And take off my hover. Everybody good with the hover and cursor change? Okay. So I'm going to do a background change on the first div. Hopefully. What did I do? First child of the div. Oh. And you didn't have anything in there, right? I need to take that out. That's later.
per child, and
No, but it should take it.
oh, what?
Do you have anything in your inside your div, Henry?
So I just copied this one.
Because you're targeting something that's in a div and there's nothing there.
So I'm just.
Oh, I need a div inside this. Never
so I
mind.
just used the breakdown.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Huh? No, that didn't come out right.
What are you doing?
You don't need to name them. That's the whole point of this, is that you don't need to name it. There we go. Okay, so what happened here, I had to put it inside a div, right? I had to put all my divs inside a div,
Give your divs to children.
right? I had to give my children a parent. Okay, you listening, guys? Henry? Okay. So if I put a div inside a bunch of divs inside a div, right? So my first div is orange. Okay, how many divs do I have? 4, right? So if I change my first child to say last child, what's going to be orange now?
Last one.
The last one. Okay?
So why the first one slow down?
I don't know. It shouldn't have been.
Yeah, the first one's still alive.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Why is that? Huh. Let's see, what if I do, let's go nth child and say 3. Which one's that going to be? Should be the third one. And the other ones actually should go away. There we go. Maybe it was just a glitch a while ago. That's kind of weird because it shouldn't have been there. Okay, so I can say I want the third child. Okay, what if I have I'm pulling in a database and I want to highlight the 5th child from the last. Okay, same thing. I'm going to say nth last and 5. I don't know that I have enough to do that. Yeah, I do. Okay, so it looks like it's the 2nd, but it's actually the 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it's 5th from the bottom. Now, another thing you can actually do, you don't have to give it a number. All right, so if I did nth child, I'm going to take the last off, and I did odd, and then I did even, and we do brown. Okay, what's going to happen?
Orange, brown.
Orange, brown, orange, brown. Okay, now I've got stripes. My odd are orange, my evens are brown. Okay, now there's another thing we can actually do as well. So I can actually put in a formula. So I'm going to get rid of my evens. Okay, so the nth child, and say the formula is 2n plus 3. Okay, I don't have to have the plus 3. I can just say 2n, which is what we did just a second ago. Why is that first one staying there? That is really weird. Okay, so basically this is saying every second one. So kind of like an even, but if I did 3 in, maybe that would. Okay, so it does every third one. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Was it counting that first one, or where the home contact values are as the first one, or?
No, because they're in a nav. They're not in a div. So it shouldn't have. I'm not sure why it glitches on that first one every so often.
I think the first one, the last one, right? Even the very, very last one, does it count?
I don't remember now, but it didn't. It shouldn't have done that. So. Okay, so now what if I did, I'm gonna have to add more divs. If I did this. Any thoughts on what this is gonna do to me?
Every third one and third one.
It's when you're on 3 and then start over.
Yeah, you already knew that.
Different things.
Yeah, let's do that. That works. That's better. Okay, so what Ian was saying, if I do this, this isn't any different than what I'm doing. It's starting on the third one and moving down, going down every third. Okay, but if I say do it at 5, okay, it's going to start at 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it would do every third one after that. Okay, so this is really, I'm not adding 5, that's really my starting point. Where do I want to start doing my color? And then how do I want to skip? Okay, does everybody understand that? Good? Okay. All right, so now let's look at an attribute selector. Okay, so a while ago I said, so now I can target individual divs if I want, based on the nth child. Okay, now if I want to target an image, I'll just leave. And actually, let's go to HTML first. So I told you know, before we would put a class on this image. Well, we can actually do the image without a class, but we might want to put a class on it until you learn this technique. And then you'll go, oh, I don't need a class anymore. Okay, I'm going to put an alt tag on it. And say picture of Bill Murray. And I'm going to change the size. I'm going to take off the alt on that one. And make it 300 by 300. Okay. So now, instead of putting classes on each one of these that I want to target, I'm going to target the attribute alt. Okay? So in my style sheet, I'm going to, let me go back. I'm not done. And then we're going to put a couple of anchor tags in. I'm gonna steal those for a minute. Okay, so I have multiple hrefs, right? No. I have hrefs and I have sources. I've got, but all these are links, right? We have some that are going outside. Oh, jumping ahead here. And let's see. Let's change this to Google. Anybody use Yahoo anymore? Yeah, there's a few people that do, right? What else is there? You still have an old Yahoo account? We won't hold it against you, Leah. And this one, we're going to say product .html. Sorry, I can't talk and type very well, so I got to do this and not talk to you. Okay, so now we've got some hrefs that are going outside of our page, and we have some hrefs that are staying inside our pages, right? Obviously, these aren't going to go anywhere because they're not created yet, but, okay, you'll see the point here in a second. Okay, so we can actually target something based on the attributes that we see, that we've dropped in. So I'm going to go back to my CSS and do image. And if I'm wanting to do the attribute, I'm actually going to put it in brackets. Okay, so whatever you put in the square bracket is the attribute you are targeting. Right, so I'm going to target the alt attribute. And for that alt, I'm going to put a border, 10 pixels, set, red, so you can really see it. So each one of these, I'm going to put a border around it. Okay, if it has an alt tag. Let me make sure. Okay. All right, so looking at my index, which ones are going to have the borders? The first three, but the fourth one will not, right? Because I don't have an alt tag on it. So if I refresh, you can see I've got my red borders on the first three, but the last one does not have one. All right. So now let's go to, any questions on that? Everything good? You got it?
So can we, for example, we're targeting the alt, but can we specify which link we're targeting?
Getting there. Okay, so now I'm going to change this to, let's say Bob, right? And then I'm going to come back to my style sheet, and in this alt, I'm going to be more specific, right? I only want to do picture of Bill Murray. Now this is case sensitive, so if I were to put an M here, a lowercase m, I'll show you what happens. I lose everything. Okay, so this is one thing that is very case sensitive. So now if I go back in, which ones are going to be
The first two.
the first two? Right? Now, if I went in to my HTML and named this one alt, just weird, billiards. Why would we use Phil Murray? Do you remember?
Why what?
Why would we use Phil Murray in any of our design? You might use this because you know an image is coming, they just haven't given it to you yet. Okay, so you're in the design mode of building your website, but the images are not developed yet. You can use Phil Murray to at least put the placeholders in there with the sizing, so that you can continue to develop before the pictures get there. Does that make sense?
I'm a little confused on why.
It's for the project, right?
No, for any project, I mean any, like for a company.
Oh.
So
We're literally using that same link, Phil Murray.
yeah. So you know this company's doing a photo shoot in 3 weeks, but you're not going to wait 3 weeks to start web development, right?
You know?
They want this size picture here, this size picture here, this size picture here, but the pictures aren't to you yet. You can use Phil Murray with those sizing, at least to get the design. Yeah, it's going to be Bill Murray's picture, but when the pictures are ready, you just change the link
Got it.
to the image that they give you.
It's like
And
a placeholder.
it's a
Got it.
placeholder. Exactly, it's a
So-
placeholder
so,
for
Like,
development.
we literally are using Phil Murray, not just any placement holder. Like, Phil Murray is meant for being a placeholder. Okay, good to know.
It's a great way to do a placeholder.
Cool.
Rather than you trying to grab an image and sizing it, you can just pull it from there.
Cool.
Yep. Okay, so I'm going to say billiards. I'll just say billiards. Leave it at that. Okay. So now another way I can target an alt tag is I want to just target anything that has the word bill in it. Okay, so I'm going to take off picture of Bill Murray, and I want to target everything that has Bill in it. So I would put an asterisk here. Okay, so now what do you think I'm going to have that have the frames around it?
The first two and last three.
First two and the last one, exactly, because Bill is part of billiards. Okay, so my CSS, the asterisk, gives me if the word Bill is in there anywhere with a capital B. Okay, and a quick way to change that, it's like, oh, I didn't want any Bill. I wanted it to be exact. Where's the tilde? Okay, so the tilde equals is saying exactly Bill.
So nothing after, nothing before.
Bill space. Okay,
So the first,
so it'd be only the first two now, because Bill is part of this, but it's exactly Bill, not part of a bigger word. Okay, so the asterisk gives you the word in anywhere in the sentence, anywhere in your alt. The tilde gives you exactly the word Bill. Okay, any questions so far? So there's another selector that we can use, and it starts with, starts with. All right, so I can say starts with something. All right, I'm going to leave that one there and go to a different one and say, so looking at, we want these hrefs to look different than these, because these go outside of our website and these are inside our website, right? So I'm going to look at those differently. Okay, so down here I'm going to say, let's see, anchor tag. bracket, because I'm going to look at an attribute, href, and starts with HTTP bracket. Okay, and I'm going to change the color of those to blue. Font size to 22 pixels. And what else? Okay, so our href that starts with HTTP is going to be this. Okay, so now looking at these. I'm going to make the font a little bit bigger. Okay, notice it's even getting these up here in my navigation. Why is that? Because they're an anchor tag that has an href that starts with HTTP. Okay, so it doesn't matter where they are. Okay, it's going to target all anchor tags with an href that starts with HTTP. Now, what if I wanted to make these different? What could I do? I can look for HTML. Okay, so I would do something like ends with, which is the $, oops, href, $, HTML. And on these, what do we do if we're linking inside our website? Do y'all remember what we did? How about text decoration? Font. 28 pixels. Y'all remember that? None. Okay, so now if we look at that, now they're pink with no underline underneath them. Okay, so go back. So this is ends with HTML. This is starts with. So that's the caret is starts with, the $, is ends with. So now I'm targeting all kinds of different things in my HTML, and I have not put one class in here. Right? Everybody good? I'm about to delete all this, so I just want to make sure. Everybody good? Okay. All right, so I'm going to actually put some classes in here. Main, content, div. Okay, so this is how, I mean, you might actually come across some web pages if you're a web page developer that have done this, okay, and this is kind of old school. What would we use for this now? Or at least for this one, what would we use? A div. We'd use navigate, right? We'd have a nav tag for our navigation, right? We might have a head tag or header tag for our content or our, right? They've added tags that not everybody's using yet. All right, so you might open one that looks similar to this because they classed everything rather than using the new tags that are available. Right? Just FYI. Not necessarily the best way, but it is a naming convention that's out there. Okay, so what if I want to change the content? I'll add this div. And I want to look at classes that start with main dash. Okay, what do you expect to see here? Everything that has a main dash, right, that starts with main dash. Yes, sir?
Let's say I had a paragraph that had the word main in it, would it change that paragraph too?
No, because it has to be inside a div.
Yeah, but like, so like in one of my assignments, I have div encompassing like my whole body.
Mm-hmm.
And so if it's inside that div, then it would be included, right? Or does it have, like, how do I explain it?
So let me see. If you have,
I have like just div, plain div, and then like paragraphs in between the divs.
uh-huh.
And then if I were to say div includes or starts with main, and my paragraph has main in it.
If it has the word main in it.
Like if it's talking about something, it's like mainly or
Avoiding main dash.
yeah, okay.
Well, let's just see. Main dash. Let's try that. So our paragraph should be what?
I have a red in it, right? Or what did you put color, sorry.
I don't think we put a color on our paragraph, did we?
On your div though, that you just did. Back
Right.
to tomato.
So the div main, class main should be tomato, but the paragraph should be, by default, we're thinking what?
Oh.
Should be black, right? Hopefully. Yeah. So see, it doesn't affect anything inside the div. Does that answer your question? You're still kind of...
Sort of, yeah. I'm just trying to put it together in my head.
Okay, so I have all these divs that have main dash in them. But it doesn't affect anything inside those. The div itself has changed colors,
So you're
not
calling
the
name
content.
Okay, you're calling the name of the div, not finding words in the content.
Right.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, the class name and this has nothing, these are totally different.
Okay.
Now if I put my class name on here, I don't know that you can class a paragraph actually.
Okay, no, that answers my question.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, so we're seeing that, I mean, again, it just starts with main, right? So if I change this to take off the dash, what's going to happen? Yeah, so right now I've only got 3 of the 4 done, right? Now if I save that, now all of them are tomato. Does everybody see why? Because I said starts with main and didn't have the dash in there. So maintenance starts with main. Okay, so a little bit more descriptive than what maybe the bill and billiards was a while ago. All right. And then let's see. The last one is a pipe. Okay, so it's the backspace or the backslash shift backslash is the pipe. And this says starts whatever word is in quotes. So it's, again, it starts with and
It's under the backspace.
All right,
yeah, it's under the backspace. Well, it depends on the keyboard, but it's above the enter key maybe. It's kind of a weird one. Okay?
So what is that support then? Yeah, sorry.
It is starts if you use the pipe equal main, it starts whatever word is in quotes and that word is in a dash separated list. Okay? So I didn't put the dash in. Now when I refresh, the ones that have a dash have it, but the one that doesn't have a dash doesn't. Does that make sense? There's not really a good use case for this, all right?
When would you use it?
But I'm just saying that, so it looks at main, the word, whatever's in here, that is separated with a dash. So it eliminates anything that has main in the word itself.
Why wouldn't you just do
Exactly, that's why there's not a good use case for it, because what can I do here?
what you just did?
You'd use it if you weren't using the dash. You can
But
just
it looks
call
like
it-
a dash.
But it looks, the pipe looks for a dash.
So therefore,
It looks for
so that's
a word with a dash in it.
So if you don't dash it, then I can do it.
Yeah. So this and oops,
it does that.
starts with, this is the exact same thing. The pipe looks for the word with a dash next to it. So again, there's not a good use case for it, all right?
Because this specifies that you have to start with, so maybe why is the dash is not starting with the word, maybe in the middle?
Well, it is in the middle right here.
No, what I mean, let's say.
The pipe,
Yeah, on the pipe, let's say main is not main.
so it's like,
Specific
so you're saying, what if I had it,
content main.
X, like that, okay? Let's see. Let's just check it out. Okay, so the pipe didn't find, so it does start with main and has a dash after it. So it has to be the first word with a dash.
So pipe also corresponds to the first word.
Yeah, so pipe, it's a good one. Let me see if I
Reason
can.
No one knows where it is on the support, doesn't it?
Yeah. Word in quotes. Oh my goodness. Has to be first, followed by a dash.
Yeah, pipe starts with, you use the
The tilde,
tilde, yeah, that contains
It
that
ca-
word somewhere in the
Right.
hyphen list.
in the list, somewhere in that, it'll look for it. So the tilde,
Should you combine them then? Should you do tilde and pipe?
Why would you do that?
Or if you're looking for like, if you're looking for.
Okay, so the caret is, starts with, right? And then the tilde is, what did I say it was? Contains the word. Contains the word somewhere in the class. Gosh. Okay. So the pipe is, the word is in quotes and has to be the first followed by a dash. The caret is, it starts with, and then the tilde is, the word can be anywhere. Let's just verify that. So if I take out a dash there, I guess it probably doesn't matter, right? So all of them should be tomato. Everybody agree with that? Should be? Let's find out. What happened? Oh. Let's see, which one do I want? Which one were we testing? Contains the word somewhere.
Does that have to be a space separated list for the title key?
Contains the word somewhere in the class. That didn't work.
Try star.
Huh?
Try a star instead of the tilde.
Oh, yeah. The star is everything, isn't it? There we go.
The tilde key is a space separated list.
Space separated?
Yeah.
So you're saying because it had the dash in it. We didn't have
Yeah,
the dash.
because it had the dash.
Yeah. Space separated. Is that what it's saying on CSS tricks?
No, it was on the notes from the assignment. It said that
Space separated with the word?
it says that the star equals contains this value somewhere in it, so anywhere, and then
Right.
tilde key equals has this value in a space separated list somewhere.
Oh, okay. So the tilde is the space separated. Okay. Oops. All right. Are we totally confused on that one now? All right, so here's the 4 different types. Again, the pipe is not something that's used.
Hashtag garbage.
Yeah, hashtag garbage. Okay. So, any questions? Octothorpe garbage, that's right. All right. I'm going to delete all these. And delete those. And I can actually delete that too. All right. So now I'm going to go back into our HTML. Don't take off those. I'm going to create some lists here. Oh yeah, thank you. Okay. All right, what do you think we're going to see? Anybody? I can't count.
Just the list.
Just the list, right?
The last item being the last item on the list.
With,
Oh.
okay, just one list. So I've got some overflow issues going. We're going to ignore that for this assignment, all right? You know how to fix them, right? If you don't, go back and look at a video. All right, we're going to ignore those for now. So if I wanted to target the div, the li in a div, pretty simple, right? Div li, right? Everybody agree? And I'm going to say color is, give me a color, Tyler.
Black.
It's already black. Huh?
Green.
Green. Okay. Now, what do you expect to see? Are all of them going to be green? They are. You just can't see it there. Okay, so they're all. Why is that? Because they're all LIs. They're all children. They're all descendants. Let's go back to that word. Descendants of this div. So this LI is a child of the UL. Let's start here. This LI is a child of this UL, which is a child of this LI, which is a child of this UL, which is a child of the div. Okay? So these are descendants way down here. Let's add a margin. Let's add a margin to this. Margin 40 pixels. Okay, now, why did these go in more than these?
Because you have a dot right there.
Because it's inside.
What, Aaliyah?
Because it's inside. It's a separate UL.
Yeah, because it's actually a descendant of another UL, right? Of another LI even. So if we go back, so what happened here was these LIs went in 40 pixels. This LI went in 40 pixels also. But there's nothing attached to it, and then this LI went in 40 from its parent. So 19 through 22 went in 40 from 17, which went in 40 from the div. Does that make sense? I see a couple of nods, okay. All right, now, what if we wanted to do more? So if I wanted to do the UL in the LI, is that going to change anything? Shouldn't, right? Okay, but now what if I really wanted to look at only direct children? So I really only wanted to affect these guys, not these guys. I can do that with saying I want a direct child, basically. Okay, so this is saying a direct LI, direct child of a UL, that's a direct child of a div. Okay? So if I look here, is this LI a direct child of a UL?
Yes.
Yes. But is this UL a direct child of a div? No. So these guys will not be changed. All right? Theoretically.
So why would you ever do what we've been doing and just using their, like, spaces?
The spaces.
Rather than being more specific?
It all depends. I mean, what if I'm wanting to attack all ULs within an LI or all LIs within a UL throughout my whole website? But then I have this one that I'm like, this one has to be different. So then I can say, okay, it has to be a direct child of this. But all of the other ones are going to be pink and font 32, but this little subset needs to be different. Okay, so it's an easy way to do that rather than classing it. Because I could put a class on here and just target that, right? And fix it. But the more classes you get, the more complicated you're going to make it too. Because you'll have to go, where was that class? What am I looking at? Okay, so I can say a direct child of a div that's a LI that's a direct child of a UL that's a direct child of a div.
So if I want to change the other part, the other children, I have to keep doing direct child in this one?
So if I wanted to look at, so that was UL and another LI.
Now we change the second part, right?
Very good. Okay. So her question was, hopefully you followed, was if I wanted to target only this section, well, that's an LI, that's in a UL, that's in an LI, that's in a UL, that's in a div. Okay? So I have a LI in a UL, that's in an LI, that's in a UL, that's in a div. Yeah. To me, if I got that deep, I'd throw a class on it. Right? Because that to me looks very complicated.
Makes you look smarter.
Huh?
So it makes you look smarter.
Yeah, it makes you look a lot smarter. All right. Any questions on the child thing? Holy cow, how did it get so late? Okay. No. Hopefully real quick. All right, see ya. I'm gonna throw in, let's see.
Close the quotes.
Thank you. When I looked at it in a second, go, why is it not colored right? To save some time. 2 and 3. Can't remember. Okay, so I've got 2 paragraphs above an image and 3 below. All right, so now we're going to look at, I'm going to take the div off here. Okay. We want to look at the adjacent sibling combinator selector. All right, so what I'm going to do is that is a plus sign. So if I say plus paragraph or paragraph plus paragraph, and I let's say, what should I do? Color. Okay, terrible colors. But what this means is if there's a paragraph following a paragraph, color it. Okay? But not the previous one. So color this paragraph because it follows a paragraph. Okay, then I have an image. Then I have another paragraph, and then this paragraph is colored because it follows a paragraph. This one's colored because it follows a paragraph. Okay, so that's what the plus does. It says if it's an adjacent sibling, meaning it's right under each other. Okay?
So if there is no image, it will color follow because it will follow.
Right. Okay, so if I did this, what do you think is going to be colored? all the paragraphs after the image. Or,
Oh, because then you have to do P plus P after that, huh?
yeah, so if I did another P,
Paragraph one, paragraph one, image.
yeah,
To get it to color all of them, would you have to do another, like, hit enter and then P plus P?
Just a P.
or you can just do P if you want all your paragraphs. But what if I didn't want all my
Just
paragraphs
after the image.
after the image?
Would you, that's what I'm saying, would you have to do?
Comma.
What happens if I do this?
Paragraph after,
All paragraphs after that parent. Okay? Okay, hanging with me. There's something called a pseudo class we've talked about, and we can do a pseudo element. Okay, so this means I can actually add stuff through CSS, not in HTML. Okay, so I'm going to do this real quick. Let's see. P before content is okay, so if I put this in, what do you think we're going to see?
text.
Text, right? Before my paragraph 1. It went in everywhere. So let's clean that up a little bit and do this. Okay, this is a weird paragraph. Notice I can't select that, but if I come over here, I can select what's in my HTML. Okay, so you can highlight what's in HTML, but you cannot highlight what's in CSS. Pretty cool, huh? So if I wanted to, let's say, I can also do after, I believe. Okay, above image, this is a weird paragraph. Okay, so I've added it to the end. You can also do first letter. And I just want to say font size is 50 pixels. And I can change the color of it. Okay. Maybe 50 pixels is a little big. Okay, this looks a lot better. I didn't go grab real paragraphs, but you notice that, I mean, if you've gone out to any websites, you can tell that they've done that, right? That they've made the first letter bigger than the rest of the paragraph. Okay. Also, if we can do first line. So if I wanted, which doesn't make sense on this one, but I could do first line. And it does the whole thing. Obviously, if I had more data here, let's look at. Okay, so notice the first line is all bold or big font, but also look at it's responsive. Okay, so as I shrink down, that first line goes away as well. Okay, so it knows first line is literally the first line. Okay? So first letter or first line, you can do something with as well. So those are some advanced CSS selectors. I think animation, I'm going to look at it, but I think I may have you guys look at animation on your own. And then we'll do something else on Wednesday. But I'll post that just in the next few minutes if I want you to do it on your own. Okay? Because I'm looking at how much is left, and we have to get to tic-tac-toe in class before your assignment. So I've got to make sure we get there. All right? Any questions? Everybody good? Okay.